This is question 21, and I'm going to do 22 at the same time. Which dice mechanic appeals to you, and which non-dice mechanic appeals to you? So, which dice mechanic appeals to me? I like exploding dice. Okay, so exploding dice is the mechanic for anyone who's new to role-playing and doesn't know, or at least to that mechanic. Exploding dice is something about rolling the top value of the die and then getting to go on from there, like, and add on, right? Like, a d6 exploding die could get the result of 9, right? It would be by rolling 6 and then rolling a 3 after that, because you would get to, you rolled the top value on the d6, which is 6, and that allows you to roll again and add it all together. So instead of having a damage range of 1 to 6, technically you have a damage range of 1 to infinity. But statistically speaking, that's not going to happen, right? You have a 1 in 6 chance of doing damage greater than 7, and you have a 5 in 6 chance of doing damage between 1 and 5. Oddly enough, if you do 1d6 exploding, you'll never do 6 damage, because if you roll a 6, you can't do anything other than roll a 0. The lowest you can roll is a 1, and that'll put you at 7. So oddly enough, a 1d6 exploding will never result in 6, unless it's also modified down, like 1d6 exploding with a -1 on each exploding value, or something like that, right? So 1d6 plus, if you get 6, plus 0 to 5, and if that ends up as a 5, plus 0 to 4, or whatever. Rollmaster uses exploding dice, which it's D100. It doesn't wait for you to hit 100. It's the top 5%, and it's also the bottom 5% because it can explode down. The other mechanic, though, I want to list another mechanic. The other mechanic I've found really interesting so far is the dragon die of Dragon Age role-playing system, or the AGE fantasy system, right? Like so it's a 3d6 system. 2d6 look like one color, and 1d6 is a different color. And so what happens is, if you roll pairs between any of the 3 dice, color doesn't matter. If you roll pairs between any of the 3 dice, that action you have could do something special based on a chart. There's just a little table chart. I don't remember. I guess technically it's a chart that gives you options at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. And what you do is you look at that one die that's a different color, and that's the number of points you have to spend on that table based on the attack. So, like normal attacks, you have like armor piercing and dual attack and all these other things. So instead of your character having to take these skills to do these things or these abilities, they're embedded in this table. Now, to me, that's not important per se. I like the idea, though, that there is something extra that comes out of this happenstance, right? Like rolling the same number out of two out of 3 dice actually happens a decent number, so you can't do it for something that's supposed to be rare. I think it actually happens statistically speaking, I think it happens 1 out of every 3 rolls. You're going to roll this, right? And then you have a flat 1 to 6 chance of points to spend. I think that's pretty interesting. Non-dice mechanics. Does that question mean non-die mechanics like card draws? Yes. Yes, that would be a non-die mechanic. And in fact, the one that I want to list as my favorite non-die mechanic, I've never even played. The old... Oh, shoot. What's the name of this system? Anyways, what I'm saying about that one is that it has you use a standard 52 card deck. At least that's why I think that it uses a standard deck of cards. Like it uses them for initiative, Maybe it doesn't use it for everything else. Maybe it just uses it for initiative or something like that. But I thought it did more than that. And I wanted to try that out. And I'd never played it. I can't find it. I can't find it. But I thought that one sounded really interesting, and that would be interesting to do. And I was at a convention one time where it was a big, large table playing BattleTech, and he just had a whole bunch of mechs that you could just kind of pick up and go with. Actually, he put all the mechs on the table and just spread them out amongst all the players. And as people came and went, he just moved the mechs around. But on the mechs, Deadlands. That's it, Skeeter. Deadlands. You've got it. Awesome. Thank you. He had a card, suit and value, written on each mech, right? So he had you all decide on what your actions were, your movement, and what you were firing. Or maybe he just had you do we took turns, maybe going around the table doing movement or something like that, and then we all wrote down our actions, and then he started drawing cards. And when you got to your card, that's when your initiative was. And I know there's like a new Deadlands, and I think their mechanics are different. I think they're just like straight up D20. But that's what I heard about Deadlands before. And I could be completely wrong because I never got to play it. But I wanted to play it because of that 52 card deck usage. I thought that was interesting. And I thought that this GM running a huge game of BattleTech by using 52 card deck was also very interesting.